This past weekend, we got to see TSM take the win in the finals for LCS Summer. And of course, a lot of conversation took place around Spica, with some saying that he should have been the MVP. So given the discussion, I decided to ask Tim, the founder of Oracle's Elixir, what his opinions were for this week's episode of Run It.
What I'm about to say might sound insane considering we're talking about a TSM jungler, but Spica's on pace to become the best jungler in the entire LCS. I'm not just saying this because he should have been the MVP of the finals, I'm basing it on the entire arc of his past 12 months. Spica's not just a 2-week wonder, and the playoffs weren't a total transformation for him. They were an arrival. I understand when you look at the stats for the regular season versus the playoffs, it might seem like he was a completely different player. He made a lot of big jumps in a lot of key statistical categories. His CS per minute in particular was the lowest of any starting jungler in the regular season, but leapt all the way from 5.1 to 5.8 for the playoffs. His damage output increased by about 50%. Statistically, it's fair to say that Spica was a mid-tier LCS jungler at best in the regular season, but he had the strongest numbers at his position by far in the playoffs. In the regular season though, his eye test was a lot better than his stats. I know that the Kayn he played in Game 1 left a bad taste in our mouths, but he was quite solid otherwise. He's a very different player from Dardoch, whose spot he took over for the summer split. Dardoch was the kind of player whose big carry performances and mechanical outplays could hide a lot of flaws in his team. TSM has had long-term issues with their teamfight execution, with their fundamental macro, and in the spring split sometimes that got hidden by the play of their jungler. Spica was not the kind of player who's going to cover that over, but he's also somebody who's not going to throw away advantages with flaws or mistakes of his own. The thing that allowed Spica to shine through a lot more was TSM cleaning up a lot of those big issues that they had been struggling with for so long. They tidied up their team fighting, they solidified their basic macro and rotational play, and that really allowed Spica to get unlocked and to perform a lot better. There were two adjustments in particular that TSM made that allowed Spica to step forward a lot more. One was drafting for a strong top side of the map, and the other was embracing more creativity and diversity in Spica's champion pool overall. Things really turned for TSM in the playoffs when they started drafting things like the Reenact and Nidalee combo or the Jackson set in Game 3 that started the reverse sweep against Golden Guardians in their second series. By embracing a wider range of jungle styles for Spica, he was able to achieve a lot more of the goals that he needed to help the team to win. He worked with his set and Nidalee power picks, but he had a stronger carry profile in his champion pool overall, and a lot more creativity. For example, he brought in the blind pick Evelynn against Cloud9 and beat them on it, and in the next game when Blabber picked up the Evelynn himself, he countered with a creative Skarner. He also surprised, of course, with the Shen, which he played in 2 games against Team Liquid for a couple of wins. I don't know if he picked that up from Zanzara in the Ultra Liga playoffs or if he took it out of solo queue, but either way, he was the first player to play it in a major region and really caught Team Liquid off guard with it. Champion pool depth is one way we can recognize Spica's long-term potential, but it's also about his awareness of his team's win conditions and ideal playstyle. Spica really activated Broken Blade in the playoffs. Broken Blade is the kind of player who either carries or he doesn't, and often needs help to either keep him safe while he's trying to get those advantages, or to bail him out when he's getting into trouble. In the playoffs, Broken Blade didn't generate more kills in the first 10 minutes than the regular season, actually slightly less. But Spica was far more involved in the kills Broken Blade did pick up. He was a huge part of allowing Broken Blade to play that high-pressure, snowballing style. And when Broken Blade did get in trouble, such as about 7 minutes into Game 4 against FlyQuest, Spica was the one who saw a gap in FlyQuest's dive setup, undercut it, made a gank for a kill, and turned the entire play on its head. The result of Spica's attention and his champion pool that enabled him to give that attention was a big shift in Broken Blade's gold plus experience difference at 10 minutes. And that was a really key factor in TSM's ability to succeed in the playoffs. Spica showed not only that he could do the exact role his team needed to be successful, but he could also rise to the occasion in the biggest games. How was that Shen taunt flash against Team Liquid for our clutch factor? And what about all those key smites throughout the playoffs? When you put this entire package together, the future is very bright for Spica and TSM. He should have been the finals MVP, and Worlds will hopefully be a really great learning opportunity for him to carry through even stronger into 2021. If he continues on a similar growth curve that he has from the past 12 months, he will easily challenge for the first team All-Pro next season.
Our thanks to Tim for that insight. Be sure to check out oracleselixir.com for more info. Hello. Hope you've been enjoying my coverage of the LCS playoffs. I've been enjoying my LCS coverage. Because a lot of you guys have been watching my videos, and including this one. That feels very nice. Either way, the whole point of this is to let you guys know that, in the past I referenced Intel Gamer Days happening with Alienware. Well, guess what? They've just kicked it into second gear. Is that what you kick it into? Or fourth gear? Fifth gear? They've kicked it up a notch because they now have 17% off of Intel systems. If you go to alienware.com/Travis, you'll see a code there. That's until September 6th. So if you're watching this after September 6th, you've waited too long to watch my content, and this should be a lesson to you to only watch my content whenever it's fresh and hot off the grill, hot off the camera, whatever. Alienware.com/Travis. There's a link in the description below. You'll see a banner at the top talking about how to get 17% off an Intel system. And this outro is going way too long.